Hello, Mount Washington. I'm Sergeant Charles Perkins with Mount Washington Fire Protection District. I'm here today to bring you the next video in our series. As we've mentioned in the past, we want you to put comments in below to give us an idea of what you want to learn about. We want to arrange these in an order that is beneficial to the community. In light of the recent tragedy in our county, we decided to move the smoke detector video up to now. Go ahead and get some information out about it. So that's what we're going to cover today, is smoke detectors. We're going to look at the different types of detectors and how to maintenance the detectors, what to look for on them. So one of the things that goes with smoke detectors, when subject it is fire escapes. We would like for everybody to have a fire escape plan, especially if you have little kids in your home. So if you do not have one, you can go to safekids.org, and I'll put a link in the description to this video for that. But you can go there and they have some great resources that you can use, you can download to help you design a fire escape or to just plan with your family. Just a lot of great resources on that website. So please go to that and use that resource. But one thing with a fire escape is not only make sure that you and your children know how to get out of your home in case of an emergency, but make sure that you have an agreed upon rendezvous point, whether it's a neighbor's house, a tree, a mailbox. Go ahead and pick a point that they will go to, so that they will go to that spot and they know to look for you there. If they're running around different places thinking about where you may have gone, then you may all be looking for each other. So agree on a spot, pick one, a neighbor's mailbox, a neighbor's tree, something to get them away from the house, and make that your spot. And make a plan, put it on your refrigerator, talk to them every few months about it. Maybe when you change your batteries and your smoke detectors and your clocks, sit down with your children and review the escape plan. Always a great resource to have. Okay, so the first one I'm going to talk about is a carbon monoxide detector, also known as CO. Carbon monoxide is a odorless, colorless gas that is poisonous, and it can be found in a home, especially if you have a gas water heater, a gas furnace, a gas stove, or a gas fireplace. You can also get them with wood-burning fireplaces. But a carbon monoxide is a byproduct of this combustion. So if you do not have proper exhaust on your equipment at home, you may get a carbon monoxide leak in your home. If you look at your vents leaving these appliances and you see that there's cracks or separations or damage to that vent, that's a way for that carbon monoxide to get out. It's also common for birds or other insects such as wasps to build nests in the tops of the flue as it leaves your house, and that can restrict it from leaving your house and cause it to back up into your home. So it's good to have these appliances maintenance every year, and just to make sure that everything is moving properly through the system. But a carbon monoxide detector is a detector that does just that. It looks for that gas, and it's great to have them. In my house, I have a water heater and a furnace in my basement that sit right next to each other, and then they share a flue that goes out. So I have a carbon monoxide detector in the vicinity of those two appliances, so that if I have a problem with them, it's going to pick it up fairly quickly. I also have one on every floor of my house. So I have a two-story house, so each floor has a detector on it, and that, especially on my my second floor, where most of my bedrooms are. I want one up there so that if anybody's up there sleeping, I don't want this poisonous gas to lurk up through the heating and air system and contaminate our bedrooms and cause us to get sick and possibly die. So definitely want one on every floor of your house, not necessarily in every room, but at least every floor, so that you can detect it early on. If you do think you're having problems, a lot of people say it's some flu-like symptoms, because you might have vomiting, headache, nausea, weakness, and just really sleepy. You really want to just go to sleep. But those are usually common for CO leaks. we really get a lot of people saying they have headaches, and some will be a little nauseous, some not so much. But we make carbon monoxide leaks quite a bit. People have these detectors in their house and they do go off, and we go there and we do find leaks, and usually people are complaining of headaches when we show up. They've had a headache for a couple days. Everybody in the household has a headache, and they just didn't know what the problem was. So we show up, we go in and we find the problem. We can't technically fix it normally, but we can advise you to call an HVAC company or somebody to come in and they can remedy the problem. But one thing we want to stress to you is, if you do think you're having a carbon monoxide leak in your house, don't spend time trying to open windows and doors and figuring out where the problem is. Just get outside to fresh air and call us. We will come by. We have meters that we will go in your house and we will look to see where the concentration is the highest, and that will tell us where the problem is. And then we will open your windows and doors and we will vent your house, and we will go through every room and make sure that the gas has been expelled from your house properly. Don't try to do this on your own, and we ask that you don't try to just open up and vent your house before we arrive. It just makes it harder on us, because then we have to close it back down and try to recreate the problem. So just biggest thing is get outside, get to safety, get clean air in you, and call us and we'll come figure out what your problem is. Okay, so next we want to talk about a smoke detector. There's two types I want to talk about today that are popular in homes. There's an ionization detector and a photoelectric detector. So we're going to touch on both of those. An ionization detector has a little bitty sample of radioactive material in it, and it electrifies two plates, and between these two plates it ionizes the air, and as the smoke builds up in the chamber of the smoke detector, it doesn't leave this process room to work. There's too much smoke, not enough ionization going on, therefore the detector senses that and says, now we have a problem. I'm not getting a good crossover. So that's when it will alarm that it's having a problem. So the second one I'll talk about is the photoelectric. A photoelectric has a little infrared light inside it, and that light, which you can't see with the normal eye, so you can't take it apart and see the light. You won't see it glowing at night, but that light shines across the detector and is absorbed into another plate on the other side that's designed to absorb and take on the light. Well, there's a second plate that's at an angle to the light, and that plate is also designed to absorb, is also designed to read how much light is coming into that. Now, the way the detector's chamber is built, it should never see the light from the light emitting diode that's going across there until smoke starts to build up inside the chamber, and then smoke will deflect the light down to that plate, and then that is how it receives the alarm state. Now, there are combination detectors out there, so you can get them in various combinations. You can get an ionization and a smoke detector in one. They just have different chambers. You can also get a smoke detector and a CO detector, which are pretty common. You can find them pretty easily. I know Stouts, Lowe's, Home Depot, all the local supply houses all sell those. So you can get a combination one, and that's great for having in that, say, the second floor hallway outside all of your bedrooms. That's a great place to have one, or in the basement next to all the appliances. That way you can detect the gases that are coming off of it, and you can detect for smoke. So great to have. So another detector that I want to talk about is a heat detector. It's not as common in residential settings. It's more of a commercial thing, but it does just that. It detects heat. Most of the time you'll find them in a mechanical environment, somewhere that's dirty, dusty, a welding shop, so that kind of atmosphere where there's a lot of smoke, a lot of debris, a lot of dust in the air, and a smoke detector will not function well there because it will constantly be tripping. So you want to have a heat detector so you can tell whether it's actually a problem or not just a false alarm with the smoke. So one of the new things that we've been seeing a lot of lately are smart detectors. Sorry, I learned to talk today. Smart detectors are being sold by a lot of these companies that are coming in doing alarm systems in your home. They're knocking on your door every other day trying to sell you a new alarm system, and they're also putting in smoke detectors. And you can buy them over the counter at, like I said, Stouts or Home Depot or Lowe's. But these smart detectors use your Bluetooth or the Wi-Fi of your home to communicate, and they will actually send a notice to your phone and say your batteries are low or you're in an alarm state. So if you're not home, you know that your alarms are going off or that your batteries are low even before maybe you get a phone call from your alarm company. I did speak with a gentleman a year or so ago who had one, and he was on vacation out of state, and he got a notification in the middle of the night that his batteries were low. So it was handy. It's a great asset to have. I like to see where they're going with these, and I'm really looking forward to it. So those are the types of detectors that we wanted to cover. One of the things that one of the next subjects I want to talk about is the location of it. So when we talk about locations, every sleeping room, whether it's a bedroom, a nursery, a den that maybe has a sleeping arrangement in it, any kind of sleeping room in your home should have a smoke detector in that room. That's a standard. If you're building a house, if you're remodeling a house, that's a requirement by law now that all sleeping rooms have to have a smoke detector in the room where people sleep. But also outside your sleeping room, you have to have a smoke detector in the hallway or the room outside that sleeping room. That's to protect the people in the room if there's a fire outside the room. It'll detect it before it gets too big for them to get out. So if you have a hallway where 1 or 2 or 3 bedrooms are off of, then you're required to have at least one smoke detector in that hallway within so many feet of the bedrooms. In most residential homes, one smoke detector in a hallway covers most of them. But check with your building and codes. I don't want to throw too many codes out here because they change every year, and I don't want this video to be dated. So just check with building codes, check with local code enforcement, and they will advise you on how far apart they should be. But you want to at least have one on every level of your house as well. So if you're one level of your house, the first floor of your house does not have any sleeping rooms in it, you still need to have a smoke detector in it. If a basement doesn't have any sleeping rooms in it, you still have to have a smoke detector in it. So every level of your house should have one in it. Okay, the next subject I want to talk about is power. What's powering your smoke detector? So there's 2 ways of doing this. There's the battery smoke detector, where it just has a battery only in it, and when you remove it from the ceiling, there's no wires attached to it, there's nothing else, it's just a solid ceiling above it. There's usually a little door or window on these detectors that you can open up, and you'll find a 9-volt or sometimes AA or AAA batteries in there, and that is the source of power for that detector. Now every year we try to remember to put out, when you change your clocks, change your batteries, because these batteries do deplete down, they do go bad, and they do die on you. So you need to make sure you change them as often as possible. Every 6 months or every time you change your clocks, please make sure that you change these batteries and keep them up to date, because that's the only thing that powers that smoke detector, and it's the only way that smoke detector can advise you that there's a problem in that house. The second way of doing it is a 120-volt electrical circuit from your house. So when you pull these down off the ceiling, you will see wires coming out of the back of it, going into a box in the ceiling. These detectors are powered by a circuit. So if you know you have these, or if you pull it down and you see this, before you do any service to this, go to your breaker box, identify the circuit that is powering these, and turn it off. That way you don't have to risk getting electrocuted, and we definitely don't want to come to your house for that reason. So turn off the power, and then remove it. And if you're replacing it, usually there's a squeeze tab on the back or some way to disconnect a connector from the smoke detector, and you can take a new detector and hopefully snap back into that same fitting. Or some of them will actually have adapters that you can put on and adapt it to where it'll fit a new detector to that old plug-in that's attached to your wiring. If we come out to assist you with it, we're not technically allowed to unwire those wire nuts and change them out, so we're not supposed to do that. So we will refer you to an electrician, or maybe if you have a handy neighbor that can come over, or a relative that can come over and help you assist in changing out that wiring. One more thing, on the back of your detector, when you're looking at it, you will see a manufacturer date. That is the date that the smoke detector was made. So you'll also find on a lot of them there is a blank spot for a new date to be entered. That's your install date. According to the manufacturers, if the product is sealed in a container, you can write on the date that you opened it and installed it on the sealant, and that starts your 10 years of life for that detector. But you have to write it on the detector with a Sharpie or some kind of permanent ink. That will start your 10-year period, as long as it was sealed in the manufacturer's original package, never been opened. If it's been opened, or if you find one on the sealant that was never marked for its install date, then you have to defer back to the manufacturer date. So again, thank you for your time. I know it's not a great subject. Not everybody has as much enthusiasm about it as I do, but if you need assistance with your detector, if you don't have a relative or an electrician that you can come over and help you with it, we're happy to come by and help you with what we can. Again, we are limited, but we can at least come and try to assist you with it, figure out what your problem is. Don't ever hesitate to not call us, and we will put our non-emergency number in the bottom, and we'll get links to different things in the bottom in the description as well. So please check those. We also this is going to be on our YouTube channel and on our Facebook page, so if you would, please give us a like or a thumbs up, and if you're on YouTube, hit that subscribe button so we know how many people we're talking to. And there's a bell. If you click on the bell, YouTube will notify you whenever we put up a new video, and that way you won't miss out on anything that we do. But most importantly is the comments. We really want you to get down there and put comments in, give us some ideas, and let us know if there's something that we need to add to this video or to the subjects. Let us know if there's a subject that you're interested in, and again, we will try to sort our list according to what the community wants and needs. So again, thank you for your time and appreciate it. Thank you.